For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble!
哎，这说这不能近身啊，近身。
Okay, we'll start with this. Well, Katie Taylor reflects on award-winning year, envisions a blockbuster 2020. Portion of the article reads, the two-time Olympian and 2012 Olympic gold medalist from Ireland saw a 3-win campaign receive accolades from the Boxing Writers Association of America as the recipient of the 2019 Christy Martin Award bestowed upon the top female fighter of the year. She was quoted as saying, "It's a huge honor to win such a respected award. It's been a very fulfilling year, the best year of my career, really, and it's lovely to have that recognized. To become undisputed champion has been the goal ever since I turned pro, and then to end the year as a two-weight world champion was very special for me," admits Taylor, whose win over Linarda 2 wrapped up just her third full year in the pro ranks. Year 4 could serve as a year where, should she run the tables, would rapidly advance her status from modern star to an all-time great. I think the most exciting thing of all, though, is that there are even bigger fights out there for me next year, envisions Taylor, whether that's an Amanda Serrano fight, currently in discussion to take place in April at MSG's Hulu Theater once finalized, a Delphine Pursoon rematch, or a Cecilia Brækhus fight. Hopefully, all those fights can get made. News in the sport of boxing is often very fluid and ever-changing. I say this all the time. The Amanda Serrano fight seemed all but a distant memory, something that, you know what, it might not happen, because Amanda Serrano just kept finding other things to do, alternatives to what is a Katie Taylor fight, whether she was looking at having a fight in bare-knuckle boxing, or, participating in some mixed martial arts card, or attempting to unify a division that Katie Taylor doesn't even fight in. A good chunk of last year was spent wondering just how committed Amanda Serrano is or isn't to the Katie Taylor fight. A recent tweet from Amanda Serrano lends some insight into what might happen moving forward into 2020 with Amanda Serrano and with the Katie Taylor fight. She says, the fight game isn't very good at times. My mixed martial arts fight for Combate Americas has been canceled. I spent a ton of hours training for it. I'm honestly tired of all the crap. I think it's time to move on to the next chapter of my life. And one might feel so inclined to ask, what does Amanda mean by moving on to the next chapter?
Yeah.
Well, one tweet that she wrote reads, "Thank you. My next path is having a family with some cute kids." And I'm going to be completely honest when I say that as I read these tweets, I don't get the impression that Amanda is committed to that fight. You're talking about what sounds like walking away from combat sports altogether of any kind at a time where people are expecting you to participate in what would be the biggest fight of your career at the biggest venue
you've ever played,
where essentially you'd be headlining opposite Katie Taylor. And what you're talking about is starting a family and having children. You'll excuse me for saying so, that it's Amanda Serrano's prerogative to do whatever she wants to do, the same way it's our prerogative to react to it however we want to react.
Two-way street.
And I think that this further denotes what I've been telling you all year, that Amanda Serrano doesn't seem like someone who's committed to the Katie Taylor fight to me. That would be her crowning achievement if she won. That would be Amanda's legacy fight, because for all these divisions that she's fought in, you won't find a Bobby Juarez in there. You won't find a Daniela Bermudez or a Marcela Acuna. You won't find these legendary fighters that have been around over the years, and they've had their ups, they've had their downs, but they have fought the other good fighters that are out there. As it stands, the best name on Amanda Serrano's resume really is the name of Heather Hardy, and that's a victory that she racked up only recently. Let me tell you something, okay? Amanda Serrano spent a good chunk of last year trying to paint the picture that she's got alternatives to a Katie Taylor fight, that she doesn't need Katie Taylor. Katie Taylor needs her because Amanda's got options, yet one of those options just fizzled the fuck out, didn't it? Okay, you spent all that time preparing for that Combate Americas thing, only for it to get deflated. So, I mean, where are all the other options that you were talking about? You seem ready to walk away from combat sports. But why are you ready to walk away from combat sports on the eve of what could be your biggest fight? On the eve of what could be your biggest payday? Amanda Serrano's been running around all year telling anyone who would listen that they're not offering her the kind of money that she wants, that she deserves more. But what does that belief? You know, where does it come from, and what is it based on? Because Amanda's not approaching the Taylor fight as a champion, you understand. She had ample time to try to see about becoming a world champion of some kind in a division that Katie Taylor's actually in.
She did.
I mean, that's the reality of it. You know that Amanda Serrano is the WBO's super champion. And what that designation means is that she can challenge any WBO champion in any weight class, and they have to oblige her. So why didn't she flex that WBO muscle with Rose Volante back when Rose was a undefeated champion? Why didn't she do that? And if you couldn't get Rose, okay, why don't you see about, staying at 140 and fighting for the WBO title up there? When you won it, you vacated it and dropped all the way down there to fight for a belt that you didn't even hold on to, okay? I mean, there's no way to characterize Amanda Serrano's movements other than indecisive, erratic, and strange. If it is your intention to fight Katie Taylor, why are you navigating like this, Gives me the impression that you don't want to fight her, and you never did. I didn't see all these issues between Taylor and Sanchez, the WBA champion, or Taylor and Bustos, the IBF champion, Taylor and Volante, or Taylor and Persoon, the WBO and WBC champions. I didn't see all this holdup with them, whereas with Amanda, there's always a fucking holdup. There's always a problem. And it's odd because those fighters, unlike Amanda, approach the Taylor fight as reigning champions, bringing a belt for Katie Taylor to fight for and for Katie Taylor to win. Whereas with Amanda, you're not even bringing a belt to any kind. You're approaching this fight as a challenger. So all these entitlements that she has, they're very strange. But what time is proving is that it's not Amanda Serrano that has options and alternatives. No, it's not her. It is, in fact, Katie Taylor. Because if Amanda Serrano wants to pass on the fight, Cecilia Brækhus is right there. And Cecilia Brækhus isn't indecisive in all the ways that Amanda is. So look, 2020 might actually be a bigger year for Katie Taylor than 2019 was. It might be. And that's with or without Amanda.
Pretty much.
If Amanda don't want to step up and take the fight, you know what? Fuck it. Leave. Go do whatever the fuck you want. Katie Taylor's still got Cecilia Brækhus right there, and what could be a campaign for the undisputed championship at 140 pounds. She's got no shortage of options and girls that are willing to fight her. So if Amanda wants to walk away, fuck it, walk away. Stop crying, stop whining, stop trying to get people to feel sorry for you, okay?
It's not working.
The only thing that I see is that a good chunk of last year was spent by Amanda Serrano trying to find alternatives to the Katie Taylor fight. And now that one of those alternatives fell through, oh, now you want to start a family. You know what? Go start it. Now, in stranger news, Leonard Ellerby says Gervonta Davis' next fight will be on pay-per-view.
What?
He was quoted as saying Tank's next fight will be on pay-per-view. He's shown fans across the world what kind of drawing power that he has. He has terrific drawing power. He puts behinds in the seats. The fans tune in because they want to see excitement, and that's what he brings to the table. Ellerby isn't sure when Davis, who fought 3 times in 2019, will return for his first fight of 2020. I can't say that right now. We're just moments away from this fight. We'll go back to the drawing board. I'll have a discussion with Al Heyman and Floyd and Tank's team, and we'll go from there. Now, the potential opponent that they're looking at for what could be Gervonta Davis's debut on pay-per-view is Leo Santa Cruz, as previously reported. They've been talking about making that fight for some time now, and we see the pattern. We see what the niche is. Match a fighter of Mexican heritage, an undersized fighter of Mexican heritage with one of their guys, in the hopes that the Chicano fans will show up and show out for the fight. It's the exact same thing they did with Mikey Garcia and Errol Spence. And going into that fight, most people knew that Mikey doesn't stand much of a chance.
It's a mismatch.
That Mikey hasn't proven anything in the welterweight division, and in this situation, in all likelihood, he is going to lose. That in many ways, it's a mismatch. It's a $75 mismatch, but a mismatch nonetheless. But if they're putting on this mismatch, it's so that they can capitalize off the fans that a Mikey Garcia brings. And that seems to be the case here with a Leo Santa Cruz. That Leo just got to 130, okay? He hasn't even really proven anything there because he hasn't fought any of the best guys there. He literally just got to that weight class and became a champion fighting Miguel fucking Flores. This guy's still got stuff to prove in his own weight class. But what you guys want to do is see about matching this undersized guy against Gervonta Davis, a guy who struggles to make 135 just as much as he struggles to make 130. I mean, what's this guy's body telling him to do? To go up there to 140? You know? And as mediocre and ridiculous as all of this sounds, I don't put it past them. I don't. I think they would do it. I think they would. I think they would try to charge the boxing fans $75 a pop for a fight that nobody's asking to see. They'd try to bill it as the best versus the best, something along those lines, when in reality, neither one of these two guys is the best of the best in their division.
Nope.
They're not.
Nope.
Leo Santa Cruz ain't the best guy at 130. He hasn't proven that yet. He just got there.
His last fight.
And Gervonta, well, you definitely ain't one of the best. You needed 12 rounds for a one-legged, 38-year-old Yuriorkis Gamboa. A journeyman put that guy away before you did, so you're clearly not the best guy at 135. You want to sell this dream about Gervonta Davis that he's so fucking exciting. Do you think anybody was excited to see the Hugo Ruiz fight?
Nope.
The Munez fight?
Nope.
And what, because the Gamboa numbers were a little better? You think people are excited to see this guy fight because of that? Why don't you compare Gervonta Davis's numbers with Vasyl Lomachenko's numbers to get an idea what people really want to see, what people are really excited about, what the boxing community is actually looking forward to at 135 pounds. Right now, all the rage, all the talk of the town is Lomachenko versus Lopez, Teofimo Lopez, a guy who didn't do what Gervonta Davis did. He didn't look for an out. He didn't look for an excuse to circumvent the best fighter in his division. From the moment people started talking about this kid, he had his crosshairs. He had his sights set on fighting Vasyl Lomachenko. Whereas your guy, he's in his second weight class. He was a champion 2 times at 130, and now he's in his second weight class at 135. And he still doesn't want to fight Vasyl Lomachenko. He still doesn't want to do it. But a kid with less fights than your boy, he's all about that action. That's what he wants to do. And that's what people are excited about. Not Davis versus little guy from 130.
Really, 126.
And how old is Teofimo Lopez ahead of this Vasyl Lomachenko fight? 22 years old. About the same age that Gervonta Davis was when he first started making excuses not to fight Loma. Teofimo is 22 years old, where Gervonta Davis here today is 25. And he still ain't ready. 2 world titles and 2 divisions later, Gervonta Davis ain't ready. But Teofimo Lopez, newly crowned IBF champion Teofimo Lopez, who just became a champion in his last fight, he's ready. Where a guy like Gervonta Davis is not. Ladies and gentlemen, what the people over there at the PBC have been trying to sell you are fighters who don't even want to fight.
They really don't.
They don't want a fight, per se. They don't want to fight.
They don't want it?
What they want to do is sell you an image of a fighter, the idea of a fighter, but not an actual fighter. Because actual fighters behave more like Teofimo and less like Gervonta. You have this concentration of idiots via social media who go up to bat for Gervonta Davis, not fighting Vasyl Lomachenko. They go up to bat for him by constantly attacking Vasyl Lomachenko. They question his claim as a pound-for-pound fighter. They question his career, his legacy, the quality of his competition. They question everything. Idiots like this Checkmate Boxing guy on Twitter. You got these guys, they got all these questions. But the one question they don't ask is if Gervonta Davis is every inch the fighter that you think he is, Why the fuck did Teofimo Lopez beat him to the punch?
Why
is it Teofimo fighting Vasyl Lomachenko and not Gervonta Davis? I mean, Gervonta Davis has had 3 years to think it over, and so far, he's still no closer to fighting Vasyl Lomachenko this year than he was 3 years ago. If Gervonta is everything you say he is, why won't he fight Vasyl Lomachenko? Hell, why won't he fight anybody good in a weight class where he's campaigning?
Why?
You didn't fight Pachel. You didn't fight Loma. You didn't fight Ito. You didn't fight Herring. You didn't fight Corrales. All you did was fight Pedraza 3 years ago, and your idiot fans are still riding that scooter.
3 years later.
Got these nut jobs that have made it their personal mission to protect the image of Gervonta Davis at all costs because they know he's not the boxer that they want him to be. They don't actually want to see
That fight.
Gervonta Davis fight this fucking guy. They rather spend 24 out of 24 hours arguing via social media on Gervonta Davis's behalf than allow this grown-ass man to handle his business in the ring. Because in case you forgot, aside from being your idol and the poster child for everything you want to be, Gervonta Davis is supposed to be a professional fighter
Ain't he?
of some kind. Oh yeah, that's what he's supposed to be, ain't he?
Think so.
At what point did it become okay to be such a dick-rotten for a fighter that you don't even want the fucking fighter to fight? You want anything but that. You'll sit there for fucking hours on end on Twitter arguing with complete strangers online because they want to see a fucking fighter have a fight. And you being a dick-riding faggots that y'all are, y'all don't want to see that. You don't want to see little Gervonta get in a fight with Vasyl Lomachenko. What kind of fucking mutants, what kind of fucking effeminate freaks are we dealing with here today in the boxing community to where these fake motherfuckers are so in love, so enamored with a guy, they don't actually want the guy to fight, even though that's his fucking job. Do you realize how mentally imbalanced you have to be to behave the way that Gervonta Davis's fans behave on a daily basis via social media? Do you realize how far fucking gone you gotta be to make multiple accounts to defend a fighter who doesn't want to fight? I mean, you really have to be missing a couple of screws upstairs to get upset that fight fans want to see a fighter who you like in a fight. I mean, oh my god, that's such a foreign concept, I know.
It's almost alien.
For y'all, I bet it is, because, see, we're fight fans, and you guys are f***s.